Hey Barry, you know what life is like after school?
What?
It's just one long school year. No start, no finish.
Oh, it's so depressing. How's it going, guys? I'm Barry,
And this is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This. Bumping music. How's it going, guys? We are on our third movie for the time travel month. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode with Chris O'Dowd and Anna Faris.
Yeah, if you missed it, you can go back and listen to it. This is time travel joke.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So for this week, we have decided to watch I believe a Sundance favorite.
Yeah.
For 2012, which is Safety Not Guaranteed.
It won an award of some weird name. It was like the Salt and Rose Invitational Award. I don't know, some really weird name. I was like, I'm never gonna remember that, and then I didn't.
Oh man, so I remember watching this back like 2013. It was like a Redbox. This movie did not get a wide release, but after rewatching it today, it kind of made me remember how movies used to be. As far as like the risk that studios were willing to take to make these type of movies from like before. I mean, like honestly, come on, like remember like the old titles of like the 90s where it's like I don't know, The Most Dangerous Game. I think that's a book. They named it something, but you know, like movies like Double Impact. Well, I just believe there was a lot of more like movies that took a lot more chances.
Yeah.
Right? That could have...
It felt like everything wasn't already done, and now it's just, let's see if we can redo old stuff better.
I know. Well, I mean, if you think about it from a financial perspective, like what Disney's doing right now with all the remake live actions.
Right.
There's just no risk in what they're doing.
Right.
You know, and I think this is why a lot of people have been going more towards films like from Sundance or these like the Canes, where they're trying to check it out because they want to see something new, a new story.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know,
I that's what I love the small guy for, because they're still out there trying to push out that story that the big theaters aren't really playing.
The big studios aren't producing.
And it's the amazing thing about like the internet and YouTube and stuff like that is you can make a movie and then put it out there and you know, get some play and
right, and hopefully like someone will see it. They want to produce, like, you know, put it on Blu-ray,
or even, you know, if you get a film and you've got a $100,000 budget and you're, you know, able to float that for a little while and you get a decent following. I mean, you can actually make some money just with like YouTube videos.
right? Oh yeah. I mean, Sundance has been going on for so long, but I believe now it's the best time to like really be a filmmaker, because even without the backing of like major studios, you could still definitely get your movies out there.
Oh, right.
You know? And saying a lot of these people that are making small movies are way more entertaining than like the next summer blockbuster.
Right, and it's a small movie, so your brain isn't so programmed, at least for me, my brain isn't so programmed that it has to be perfect, where like, you know, you watch a $300 million movie, like Marvel movie, and you're catching the little flaws. But you watch something on, you know, one of these little small guys that's a, you know, $100,000 budget, and you're like, wow, I cannot believe what they did with that little bit of a budget. I'm just so impressed.
Exactly. Because, I mean, honestly, do we need 9 Fast and Furious movies?
I think there's 10.
But that is like reaching like comical full moon products.
That's true. They probably should have stopped at 7.
No, I have not seen a Fast and the Furious after 3. Because I was like, you know what? Nope. I'll give you a trilogy and I'm done. And the only movie that was really about racing is the third one. But enough ranting. We should probably get to the movie. This one is I think they casted really nicely for this one.
Yeah.
You have what's it called? Aubrey Plaza, like it was weird for a deadpan actress, an actress from America to have such great deadpan abilities.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it's like probably a breath of like dead air. No, she's definitely it's nice because I think when she was trying to come out, I think one of her first things I ever saw her in was Funny People with Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen. Mm-hmm. That she had such a very
and she's got a great following now, but yeah, I mean that was really kind of a stretch to pull somebody in that was so straight faced, like back 10 years ago. I mean that was like, is that gonna work? Is that what we want for this movie?
Yeah,
we could just see if we get somebody with like
a very Kristen Bell.
Yeah, lots of cleavage and big blonde hair and see.
Well, but the thing about Aubrey Plaza, what I think is like what draws a lot of people in is that she has a very cat-like attitude. Where like she makes you earn it. Like her, like in a lot of the things in a lot of the work I've seen her in, it always fits for her to be one of the actresses that you have to work for her to open up for the feelings and all that stuff. And I think that's what really worked well for her in here. We also have Mark Duplass, the director and star of Creep.
Yeah.
Actor in the League. Those are the things I know him.
Yeah, and Creep was super creepy. If you haven't seen that, go see that too.
We also have the actor who plays Fat Spider-Man. He's also from New Girl with Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, yep.
But he's a nice guy, but he could also play like a nice asshole type of character.
Yes.
And I mean, one of the lines he has in here is at the beginning of the movie when he's like, very politically incorrect, where he's like, I'll take the lesbian and the Indian. But this is a really sort of like a very offbeat time travel movie.
Right. Because
we do not get a lot of like the cool science effects. Like, we don't get a DeLorean. Well, I mean, we get an aquatic DeLorean, but we don't get it until the end of the movie.
Right. The entire special effects budget's in the last 45 seconds of the movie.
It was, but the payoff for the actual time travel is so good, right? I mean, how did you feel? This is the first time you watched it, right?
Yeah.
So, but how did you feel though when you saw the actual end of the movie?
It was amazing because you didn't know. You really didn't know if it was real,
right? Okay, so we're really gonna speed through this because I kind of want to talk about it more than go through the story. But so we start off with Aubrey Plaza's character Darius, which was was that her undercover name or that was her actual name, right?
I think it was her actual name,
which is a really weird name for a girl. But she sort of runs through her backstory of how she's sort of cynical and pessimistic the moment her mother died when she was younger.
Right, 12 or 14, something like that.
The ages that shape you as an adult.
Right.
So, but yeah, she's sort of had a pretty, not a rough childhood, but a very isolated one from what we see in the backstory. And as she's talking about this, we actually see her at an interview for a restaurant. And the guy is just like, usually people just like tell me what they're about, not like their life story. And she's very, very aloof in this interview, and they always ask like the most like very fucking basic questions, like when's the time you went above and beyond for a customer? And she's just very honest. She's like, never.
Yeah, never.
And
never
he's in, which I hate those type of questions. I wish they weren't so basic, but it is what it is. But he's offended because he's like, oh, what, you think you're too good for this job? Which I guess if you're interviewing somebody and it was like, why would you put the application in if you don't want to be here?
Right.
But
and she's got that sarcastic, just the way she comes across is super sarcastic, whether she means it or not. And so, that's exactly how he's taking it. Is like, you don't care about me or this job. You're just being
but she does tell him like, they overwork me at a magazine where I'm an intern and it's real shit. So I need a job that pays.
Right.
But he just doesn't like her attitude. So she ends up not getting the job, obviously. We see her bringing supplies into the company that she's interning for. But, they're kind of treating her like shit. Really gross. She's putting toilet paper in the bathroom. Her hair falls into the toilet water. Gross. But then they're doing some sort of brainstorming meeting, which I guess I'm pretty sure magazines do because they need to come up for articles.
Yeah, like they do, like the huddle.
Yeah, like a huddle. And Jake Johnson, who plays Fat Spider-Man, not in this movie, but he's a reporter. He's like, I saw this really weird ad.
Right, yeah, because a bunch of people bring up ideas, and like the editor's just shooting everything down. Like, we've already done that. That's dumb. Nobody wants to read that.
And so this is probably like a humanitarian piece. I don't know like what kind of magazine Seattle Post is.
Right.
I guess, is it a tabloid or?
I think it's gotta be more of like a local newspaper.
But then, like, would they pay for him to go on story? I don't think. Like, it's because it's Seattle.
Right.
So, like, maybe it's just, I guess it is just a city paper. But, man, I wouldn't pay anyone to go for that. It's such a weird piece, but he gets it off because the ad says, looking for a partner to go back in time with, must
provide your own weapons.
Must provide your own weapons, and then, like, the last part of it is, what the title card is safety not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Now, like, from reading that, everyone's just like, oh man, this guy is loop-de-loop. But, I mean, he paid for ad space, so it must be something. So Jake Johnson wants to chase it, and he requests 2 interns where he says, let me get the lesbian and the Indian. And so they're huddling at this moment, and for some reason Jake Johnson is like, I banged the boss.
Right, out of nowhere.
Which sort of like lets you, like, it sort of sets the tone for his character that he's supposed to be this playboy.
Right, a little womanizing, yeah.
But later on you find out he's actually just trying to fill some hole in his life that, he never took the chance or something that he regrets. Which I think this movie is all about, maybe regrets or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very reoccurring theme.
But yeah, so they set off on their journey. Aubrey Plaza tells her dad, like, oh, hey, I'm going on a business trip. The dad's like, yeah, good, go out, please.
you just sit at home and goth out, yeah. So, yes, please.
And, like, she's like, oh, you don't know what I did in college? She's like, oh, well, I'm, for some reason, Facebook friends with your college roommate that has told me everything. What a bitch. So, yeah, they make their way to Ocean View.
Yeah.
And so early on, they're trying to stake out Mark Duplass, see what he's about.
Right, because they don't even really know who he is. They just have a name, like a first name and
a
a
P.O. box. And so they stake out the post office. Aubrey Plaza sees who it is. And so she kind of goes on a mission to find out what he's all about. Finds out he's like staking out some laser institute.
Right.
And then finds out where he works, and he's like talking all crazy to his coworker.
And he works in a kind of like a Home Depot-ish kind of.
No, it's like a local grocery.
Is it a grocery?
Yeah. Because like remember like later on when Aubrey Plaza meets him up, yeah.
Yes, the soup.
The soup. And so at first they stake him out, see what's going on, and they need to make contact. So Jake Johnson is the one who wants to make the contact. Right.
Yeah, because he's the writer, so, he wants the credit.
Yeah. But he does it, and he's sort of like, he's insincere about wanting to do it. So he goes to Mark Duplass's house, and he's like, hey, I saw your ad. I want to be a partner. And then Mark asks him like really weird questions, like, "Have you ever stared death in the face or fear in the face?"
Right.
And unflinched or whatever. And so Mark calls bullshit. Jake has to leave. And I'm just using these actors' real names. It's just much more easier. So Jake Johnson is just like, hey, we need Aubrey Plaza. We need you to actually make contact with him. And so she does it in her very awkward and almost like spy-like way.
Yes, and that's legitimately my favorite scene of the movie.
Well, it's because I think she acts as paranoid as he is.
Yes.
So that's where he sort of feels this connection. But, like, I think these two characters work together because he can sort of feel that she's broken as well.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Right? I mean, I think that's why they have, like, a connection. That's why she feels so connected to him and vice versa.
Right.
But this tomato can soup scene is hilarious. But after that, they part ways, and it's really weird. So Jake Johnson, he's talking to the Indian guy, the taxi driver from Deadpool.
Yep.
I would try to come up with a name, but I just feel like it would all be racist.
I know we were trying to think of it as like Mohinder or Dopinder, or it was something like. I apologize if
it just insulted a bunch of people. But what's it called? Yeah, so there's like this little side story going on with Jake Johnson where the only reason he wanted to go to Ocean View is to actually see his ex-girlfriend.
Right, because turns out to be the town that he went to high school in.
No, that's the town he used to summer in.
Oh, summer in.
Yeah, and so like, and, he's like very graphic with it. He's like, "Oh, it's my first girlfriend. It's my first blowjob."
Yeah, he is certainly not coy with his descriptions of things to his interns.
Oh, that's his name. Arnell. I'm totally probably saying that wrong. But yeah, and then so this is like the side story that's going on. It's a really weird coming of age story in a time travel show and movie.
Right.
Because with this whole story we see Jake Johnson meeting the girl that he had sexual relations with.
Yeah, this huge, I guess the first love of his life, I guess.
Yeah. And super insensitively, he finds her and like is grossed out by her at first.
Yeah, he's like, oh, look. Well, because he's still got the high school picture of her where she's like 118 pounds, busty blonde.
Yeah. And now she's she doesn't even look bad. She's probably like, at this point, she's probably like 35 or something. And it's not like she's fat. She's just a normal. She's
right.
Yeah.
She's a mom.
Yeah. Well, no, she isn't a mom.
No, but like she got like that mom look. Like she's got like that.
Like the cougar look. Yeah.
That 35 to 40-year-old.
Well, I feel like this is going so bad for her. Okay, well, she just looks like a normal human being.
Yes.
But his description of her is terrible because I can definitely quote this because I thought it was really hilarious and fucked up. But he says, "It looks like this town shitted on her face." But Arnau is just like, dude, it's kind of a waste that we came all the way here. You've had this in your head this whole time. And, it's a waste if you don't even try.
Right.
And so I'm just going to go through this story just because it's so much more faster. That way I can really talk about Aubrey Plaza. And so, like, he meets her up. They meet up for dinner. And he's sort of, like, surprised at, like, she's wearing, like, this nice dress. She's cooked 3 pies. Which, I mean, that's a lot of pie.
It's a lot of pie.
Right? She's, like, massaging him. And they sort of go through their whole, like, dating background where she was like, yeah, I was married to this ball player. But then he went to the Mariners.
Right.
And then cheated on me, and so now I'm divorced. Now I just work at this salon. And he's just kind of taken aback, but he's looking like more willing to get into it.
Yeah.
Right? And so they date for a little bit while they're doing on assignment. You know, they end up hooking up.
Right, because the assignment pretty much turns into Aubrey Plaza, and the
and Arnau,
and then he's just like spending the entire week with the girl he used to have a crush on.
Yeah, or like they used to date, right?
Yeah,
or summer girlfriend. And so what's it called? They do end up hooking up. They have sex. And I guess, I don't know why, I think men are really vulnerable after arriving. But he opens his heart, I guess. He's just like, come back to Seattle with me.
Yeah.
You know, and this is probably like the most vulnerable we've seen his character in this whole movie.
Right, because he's very...
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, but he's like sort of just like a normal asshole. He's not like an exceptional asshole.
Right. No.
You know, but he's just it's probably an asshole defense mechanism. But you know, she's like, you know, if we go, you're not gonna want me when we get back to Seattle. So she's definitely dealing with her own problems of like abandonment and all that stuff. Yeah. And so I mean, like, dude, you've only been there for a week, May tops.
Yes.
Right. You can't expect her to uproot her whole life and then go to Seattle on some, what's it called? Cum drunk ecstasy. You know?
But you definitely get that he has been, he has like fantasized and
he has
made so much of her as like the greatest person, and it's probably the most attractive person he slept with, and he makes jokes about how many girls he slept with since, but I think it's like this is still to him the one,
right?
And when now that he's come to terms with her just being older than she was, and that's okay now, and so then all of a sudden it's just that, like, yeah. I've always wanted to be with you, so why don't we just do this?
Exactly. And you know, I mean, it's a risk, but you know, you already been divorced, you know?
Right.
Why not? I don't know. I understand like her situation though, you know, she definitely doesn't want to take that risk again.
Yeah.
Or something. And so, you know, but he kind of like takes it in a really bad way. You know, because he's like, you know, I opened my heart up to you and
right.
Just
and she doesn't even say it like no, but like she's like, I don't think that this is what I should do right now. Yeah. And he totally takes it as like she's like
rejecting him.
Screw you.
Right. And I feel like if he had just like made it a long distance thing, right. which I feel like would have been hard for her still, because obviously her husband or her ex-husband was living in Seattle and cheated on her.
Right, yeah.
But I feel like if they had worked at it, it could have just been like, you know, he could have played the long game, but he didn't want to. And so that kind of ends. He goes back to Arnau and he's like, what are you doing on your computer, man? Let's go out. Let's get fucked up. He wants to drag someone down to the abyss with him.
Right, but he's also thinking about what he missed being a young man, and like he could have been with this girl and he didn't because he wanted to be, you know, with his own person and whatever, so he wants
him to enjoy his youth.
Yeah, it's like you're not going to enjoy it just sitting on a computer. You got to get out there and do the things that I thought were fun, because it's the only way you're going to be able to live.
Right, and so they do. They go out. They meet some kids in front of a liquor store. They get drunk. They have a night on the town.
Right.
A really sad scene where I'm pretty sure you can't bring a bottle and a go-kart. But he's just super crying, because I think at that moment is probably the moment where, like, while I was doing these type of things, I could have been building a family or something with somebody. So there's a lot to unwrap there and this isn't even the main story of this film. But it's pretty much that sort of closes out that subplot. Yeah. Because Arnau, he does hook up with a girl who I believe might be too young for him. Because, like, what are two girls and a goth doing in front of a liquor store and not drinking in front of a liquor store?
Well, you're a small town. That's what you do on the weekend. You just hang out in front of the store.
Like Jay and Silent Bob?
Exactly.
So, like, while that's all happening, Aubrey Plaza spends all this time with Mark Duplass in this film. They get to know each other as they're going through this time travel training.
Right, and certainly at the beginning, he wants to believe her, but he doesn't really trust her, and he's super paranoid. He feels the government is following him.
Yeah. But she matches that paranoia.
Yes.
With, like, on their first meeting, she was, like, they're, like, supposed to meet up at a spot, but then she got worried because Jake Johnson and Arnau were still in the car. And so she drives off with the couple, like, when she sees the cars behind them, and she's like, people are following us. And it's just, like, two old people in their car.
Yep.
And Mark takes out a shotgun. Which I would have reported that right away. Like, hey, man, like, I was just driving on the road, and some guy pulled out a shotgun. But I think with that, and one of their early meetings at the football game.
Yes.
Is what solidified that he can kind of trust her, because, like, during the football game, they're going over, like, what they're gonna do. But then Jake Johnson makes a huge deal. First of all, he tells Arnau, he's like, hey, you should fuck this high school girl. Because you're in college, and that's what high school girls want, college guys. And he's just openly drinking, so obviously a mom calls a cop. Or, like, the security to take them out.
Apparently you shouldn't be drinking at a high school football game.
Oh, I mean, come on, like you said, it's America. And what's a football game without a beer? But yeah, so Jake Johnson makes a spectacle. Mark Duplass sees it, and he's like, oh my god, that's the guy who tried to answer the ad. And
right.
then
So
Aubrey...
he immediately thinks, oh, he must be a government conspirator.
Right? And then Aubrey Plaza's like, we gotta get out of here. I think the guy next to us is recording us. So really, like, she's very smart. Her character is very smart. She thinks on her feet pretty quickly and all that stuff. So, so they do their training. They do their physical training after that. We get a pretty sweet physical training montage.
With the rolling and shooting their guns.
Well, okay, so he's training Aubrey Plaza to know how to shoot a gun. And she gets pretty good at it. She's, like, shooting the bottles, and she's like, oh, I might be better than you. And he's like, oh, but how are you at hitting a moving target? Which, I mean, like, I feel like a small town guy, you got guns, you're, like, just goofing off with the gun. This gun safety is out the window on here because she is in the line of, like, sight.
Right.
And
he's doing the one where he's running back and forth in front of her, and she has to try to shoot the bottles between him running by. Yeah.
Well, it's not like he's running, like, at a lightning speed.
No, but he's running erratically.
Also, like, you'd be afraid, right? Like, he might just, like...
He must spin around, and you're like, oh, and there he is. Oh, and I winged him.
But it's a fun little scene, they're, like, sort of building up camaraderie.
Yes.
And then we get a short clip of, like, her video, like, almost interviewing him.
Right.
Like, about what they're doing, what they're gonna do.
And it's kind of a tricky way, like, because she wants to interview him for the magazine, but she doesn't want to let him know that she's interviewing him, so she's kind of doing it like a video diary of, like,
right?
So what the future's gonna know about us, kind of thing.
Yeah, and so, like, but it's a very smart way of doing it, and they do open up a little bit to each other because Mark Duplass keeps asking, like, what's your mission?
Yeah.
After we time travel, what's your mission? And I believe she opens up first. She's like, I want to stop my mom from dying.
And she says it, and then, like, a minute later she catches herself, and she's like, that's not really the reason. The reason is, and then she kind of really goes into it, and that's what kind of hooks him into...
Yeah.
Like being, oh, yes.
But then again, he talks about, like, we can't change anything in the past. Like, I can't tell my kid self, like, hey, save those Star Wars figures. So I'm pretty sure saving or preventing a death is against time traveling rules.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's an indie film. I'm going to let that one slide. let it slide. I'm gonna start coming out with little voice clips to add in. But I mean, and then soon after that, we find out. Well, okay, so after the laser heist. So during the laser heist, this is probably the most illegal thing that they have done in the movie. But
technically, it's really the only illegal thing they do.
Well, like in what we've seen, because he's already breaking into a laser place in Colorado.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, first of all, it's really weird that there's a laser institute in this small town, but also that there's a lack of security. So like he sneaks up on a security guard who's just like napping.
Yeah, basically.
Which is bad on him. Fired. Super fired. But somehow he knows the schematics of this building where they keep the important lasers.
Right. Well, he said he had been researching it, and he's been,
But the door is right in front of an office party. Which I don't know how they didn't notice him. But he gets in. He finds all the lasers. He shows he shows us one of the laser pieces. And then he finds out that, obviously in an office party, there's always going to be an office hookup.
Right.
And so as he's trying to sneak out from the office party, you feel like he's going to make it. But the piece that he, for some reason, didn't put back in the container almost drops. He catches it, but then the door slams. And so this is where I think you have to stretch your belief system, because he starts just wheeling it out slowly.
But that's the way to do it, because if he would have just run, everybody wouldn't have been like, holy crap. But he just like, yeah, obviously I'm just here pushing this, and just starts to wheel it, and they're all like, is he supposed to be doing this? We should follow him, because that seems wrong. But he's so unconcerned that we're all watching him that it can't be wrong.
Is it like when you're under 21 but you walk into a club like you've been 21 forever?
Yeah.
And so it's probably one of the funnier parts in the film for me, because he just calmly walks to the back of the van. He puts everything, and everyone's like, hey, what are you doing? And then they leave. Yep. Right? And so this is sort of like what's it called? After this, we find out why he wants to go back. Mm-hmm. And he tells Aubrey Plaza he wants to stop. It's for a girl, and he kind of insinuates that she's died.
Yes.
Right?
That somebody drove a truck through the front of her house.
Yeah. And
he should have been there to stop it or to protect her, and he wasn't.
Yeah. And so what's it called? They start to sort of like everything starts to really go not downhill, but the ball really starts to get rolling, because Aubrey Plaza is supposed to meet him. So with Jake Johnson and Arnow, they're going to the meeting place that she's going to get dropped off. They see that he's being followed by two government people.
Right, and that's really the first time where they're like, maybe this is real.
Right.
Why would government people be following him if
it's not real?
If there wasn't something to this.
Right. And so he takes her to his secret hiding place, which is like an abandoned truck from like the 1920s or something. And he's just like, if there's anything going wrong, we put a note in this box, and then we have to go back to fix it. Yep. Right? And so, he shows him the hiding place. And then this is where sort of they spend the night. And, actually, and then so Mark Duplass, he has like this a guitar-like instrument, and she's wondering about it. Yeah. And he plays like a really nice piece, actually.
Yeah, because apparently his previous girlfriend, or the girl that he's going back for, was big into musicians, and so he had taught himself how to play this and wrote her a song.
Which a pretty
good song. It was pretty decent.
But like, he's but you could tell sort of like he's overly, he takes care of Aubrey Plaza's character in this movie. Yeah. And so Aubrey Plaza does, like, I think in the middle of this whole movie, she starts to fall for him because, like I said, he's broken and she's like been broken. And so like, maybe these mismatched pieces can fit.
Right, exactly.
And so she kisses him, and it's sort of like, it's a pretty sweet moment.
Yeah.
You know, because then it also shows you that, like, I thought in that point when I first watched it, I remember thinking, maybe it's not a time travel movie. Maybe he's not going to go back to the past to save this girl because he's met Aubrey Plaza and they'll move on.
Right.
And so, like, the morning after, Jake Johnson, he gets a phone call from his editor. And he's like, hey, that girl that you gave me the name for, she's alive.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And she lives
just a couple miles outside of town.
Yeah. And so, Aubrey Plaza is kind of distraught because, you know, she feels like everything has been a lie.
Yeah.
So she goes to interview her. It's Kristen Bell, which is surprising.
Yeah,
Right? But she talks about how, like, Mark's character was, like, just a nice guy. Her nice coworker that she used to work with. You know, she's like, he's kind of like the guy that, like, is nice to you and you're nice back, but you really couldn't introduce him to your friends or something. Like
right. Yeah, she didn't ever really turn him down, but they were never really boyfriend and girlfriend because it was not. He's fun to hang out with, but not boyfriend material. What a bitch. But she explains, like, yeah, you know, like, the boyfriend before my husband, Mark Duplass, apparently ran a car through her boyfriend's living room. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know why he has to, why he's running cars through anything. And so, but after that, Aubrey Plaza goes back to Mark Duplass. Before that, actually, when she leaves the house, the government people come up to her, and he's like, yeah, this guy is, I think, almost like a federal fugitive. He's broken into a...
Right, and that's when you find out that he's broken into previous laser institutes and stolen stuff.
And then he's also, like, on the watch list because he's been talking to a physicist online about the particle accelerating.
Right, and then so they're thinking possible bomb.
Right? Oh, yeah, which is like, I mean, if you're doing anything with particle accelerating, aren't you making, like, a black hole? Or something like that. I think the generator thing in, like, Europe is, like, humongous.
Yes.
So you think this guy in the Pacific Northwest is making some sort of black hole generator? So, like, now, like, Aubrey Plaza is pretty depressed. She's, like, sad, and so she confronts Mark Duplass. She's like, hey, you know, I talked to the government guys and all that stuff, and he's like, well, great, they think that I'm something else. They don't know what I'm going to be up to.
Right.
And she drops a bomb. She's like, I talked to Belinda, she's alive. And Mark takes it as, like, good, like, that means we went back into time.
Yes.
And we saved her.
I don't know if he believes that or not.
Or I think he does.
Or if he just says it to try to convince her.
No, I think he does.
But yeah, that's the story. It's like, oh my god, if she's still alive, then when we went back in time, it worked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because in any sort of fashion, if you think about it, if he goes back in time, it means he still drove. Maybe he drove the car through the, you know, the thing,
right,
and all that stuff, and he still didn't change anything, but he didn't kill her,
right? And maybe he did go back, and you can't really change the past that much. So instead of driving through the front of her window and killing her, he drove through the front of the boyfriend's window, and then just looked like an ass.
Yeah. It's like House from that show, House.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really late season little Easter egg there, guy. But yeah, so, like, you know, he's super hyped for it, but at this point, Aubrey Plaza is like, there's no time machine, dude. There's nothing, you know? And he's still trying to convince you. He's like, hey, just come to the site and take my hand.
It's already all moved at the site. That's why you don't see it here in the house or in the garage, is because it's already at the launch site.
And so she almost, like, sort of believes him at this point. But this is where Jake Johnson, he bursts into the house because the government agents are coming.
Right.
And Mark is just distraught because he's like, oh, you're with this guy? Oh my god, are you guys making fun of me?
Right, because that's the first time that he realizes that there's
something afoot.
news. Yeah. that they're doing a story, and he assumes that they're doing a story to make fun of him because he's super self-conscious because he's only got one ear.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I forgot about the ear. Which I mean honestly, I get it. You know, like when you're a kid and you have something like me, I was like a chubby kid when I came back from the Philippines. I really should have just stayed in the Philippines. I had an 8-pack there. But like when you're either like chubby or you have like a deformity or something, kids are just assholes.
Yeah. Like
sometimes I just want to like give one swift old chest kick to a kid. Sometimes one good old Leonidas kick to like these kids because they're fucking assholes, man. Kids are meat. All right. They have no filter.
Right.
But yeah, and so he is super self-conscious, so he runs out because he thinks like nothing was real between them. So he runs into the woods. What's it called? Jake Johnson, Arnell, and Aubrey Plaza, they go into the shed, and where's all the parts? But he sees all the like specs,
all the plans, yeah,
and it looks legit.
Yeah.
So at this point, like Jake Johnson's like, "Oh my god, is this shit real?"
Right.
And
like he has certainly built something. We don't have any idea if it's actually a
working
feasible time machine, but he has definitely built something and believes it's gonna work.
Right. And so and then Aubrey Plaza, she runs to the truck, but she also, and after the truck, they look at the box that they're supposed to put notes in. There's nothing there.
Right.
But then she hears the boat time machine. And so she goes to the shoreline, and he's just like, and she comes up to the boat and is like, everything was real. She admits to herself that like she admits to him that like, after a certain point, everything was real about me and how I feel about you, because she says I like you.
And the story about my mom was real, and
yeah. And so with that, Mark Duplass is like, come with me. And it's a very Aladdin.
Right.
Yeah. Or Terminator, whatever. But and so Jake Johnson, Arnell, and the two government guys are just standing as Aubrey Plaza boards the ship, and he like puts the final piece that they stole from the Laser Institute.
Yep.
And turns it on, and this is where most of the budget is.
Right.
Because we get a pretty sweet looking time machine.
Yeah. It's a pretty decent poof.
Right. Well, it's really cool because like at first you think, oh, it's just gonna be spinning things, and so well, first of all, look, if I was the Indian guy or any of the guys on the shore, I probably would have taken a few more steps back because the moment that thing actually started working, I was like, look, this is either gonna work or it's gonna blow up. And he's stolen a lot of like government like equipment to where it could probably be a good chunk of blown up. Like
right.
But and like it starts working. It looks like it's working. Like the thing starts spinning. Jake Johnson just puts his fist in the air like Judd Nelson and
that's exactly what I was thinking. Judd Nelson
in the
at
Breakfast
the end of Breakfast Club.
And it works. It actually works. Like it creates like this little time bubble thing, and then it just implodes within itself, and you suspect that they went back in time. Right. But like it's a very low budget film, so there's no like little date time setter or whatever. You just assume they went back in time,
or at least they didn't show it.
Exactly.
There could be.
But this is what I love about sort of indie films, because they don't give you any. That's just the end of the film.
Yeah.
Right. We still have so many like we don't have so many loose ends, but like does Jake Johnson
just leaves it so open for your imagination.
Right. Like like you want it to be like, all right, maybe Jake Johnson went back to the townie girl and then convinced her to move with him to Seattle. Maybe did they go back in time? Well, because he says like, I'm gonna go back in time for you.
Right, because she says that he's like, come on, get on the boat, and she's like, but do you want me to come with you because you're going back to save your girlfriend? And he's like, no, that's not my mission anymore. Now my mission is to help you save your mom.
So, which is like really wow, And so, yeah, and then you don't know if they ever do go back in time. You don't know where they ended up. It's just so open-ended. And so, like, it lets, like, the whoever wrote it, he's like, well, like, let's have them decide how this movie ended.
Right.
But the payoff of there being an actual time machine and it working was probably one of the most, like, satisfying
right.
things ever.
And I'm like, they legitimately could have ended it where she got on the boat and said, no, if we go back, we may mess this up and not meet. And they could have turned it off and you never would have known.
Yeah.
Would have worked just as well. Right. But I love that. It just, poof, it was gone and you just don't know.
Yeah. So, like one of the things I was really, the way I figured we should do this for this movie, right? But for me, the ending is they go back and she just watches her mom. Just to see her alive.
Right.
Because...
Or she makes the comment at one time that, like, oh, her mom was on the way home from work and stopped to get her chocolate milk. And when she called to tell her that she had chocolate milk, she was like, I was 14. And I was just like, who cares? And she was like, I was just so rude. You know? And it was a typical 14-year-old. But yeah, I mean, I could see that, like, if that's the last uncaring thing you do before, a parent passes away, unexpectedly, like, yeah, I mean, you dwell on that. Like, it's going to be stuck in your head forever.
Yeah. But, I mean, for me, I was just hoping, like, for me, how the movie would have ended for me was that she goes back in time and she doesn't change anything, but just to maybe talk to her mom for a second.
Right.
Or just see her mom alive, which might have been enough.
Right.
Because then, like, what? No matter what, it's going to happen. Like, if we learn anything from the Final Destination movies, death has a plan.
You can't stop death.
But it would change too many things in the future. And Mark might have just been like, like, maybe she stopped it himself. See, so, like, there's so many ways.
Right. Or if they went back and they stopped those things, then they wouldn't have had to build the time machine to go back to stop those things. So
now you're living.
Then they wouldn't have been in that place, and they would have been somewhere better.
See, time. It's hard to do a time travel movie. There's way too many open endings.
Right.
Which might have been the reason why the writer or director ended it the way they did. Yeah. I mean, how would you have wanted it to end? Do you feel like it was a perfect ending?
Yeah. Like I said, I would have also been okay if they didn't. I would not have liked to see them actually go back in time.
Right.
And, like, been in the, 10 years earlier. That would have I think would have ruined it.
Right. Either that or they got, like, murdered by a time what's it called, time demons or the time cops or editors. It's harkening back to last week's episode. Yep. Kobe, well, what did you think of the movie, like, when I first suggested it to you?
I was very intrigued. I don't think I ever heard of this movie. And of all the weird things I've watched, like, this is right up my alley. So
I think it was just too indie. Like,
maybe, I don't know.
Indie films are such weird type of movies, just because, like, I think they're movies that, like, what's it called, like, studios didn't want to take a chance on, but they're, like, meant to be, like, good, and so maybe that's why it wasn't on your radar. Netflix was like, oh, he doesn't want to watch this. It doesn't have a shark in it. Yeah, when I first actually saw this, I think it was, like, back in 2012. It was, like, sort of like the height of, like, the Parks and Rec show, where Aubrey Plaza was a part of. I'm pretty sure she did a movie or two in between that time. And then Mark Duplass was, like, on the League and all that stuff. So, I mean, it had actors I liked in. Jake Johnson, Fat Spider-Man. Or at that time, Nick from New Girl was an actor I liked. So it had, like, actors that I liked. And so I was just like, oh, I'll give this a chance, whatever. Aubrey Plaza is really cute. Like,
Right.
so I just, and so yeah, and I really enjoyed it. What were your favorite parts of the film?
Like I said, by far my favorite part was when they meet in the grocery store and he's working, and she comes in and she's just like, "Do you guys sell rifles here?" And he's like, "No." Wait. And she's like, "Do you sell this thing with like the spiky ball on the end of a stick?" And he's like, "Why are you asking?" He's like, "Cause your ad was pretty vague, and so I don't know really what kind of weapon I should expect to bring." I mean, it's really, you wrote it really crappily.
Well, he like insults him because she's like also like, "Well, how do you think your calculations are? Are they on point?" And it's like, "My calculations are freaking perfect."
Yep.
Which is like a really great. Well, I think she knew how to play him.
Yes.
Because like I'm pretty sure she's seen a lot of people that she's felt is crazy, so she knew how to approach the situation.
Right.
Not like Jake Johnson, where he comes up with like a Starbucks coffee in his hand with like his douchebag sunglasses.
Yep.
Oh man, is there any other parts you like?
There was so much. Like we kind of went over it. Like I really enjoyed the side story of
Jake Johnson.
Of him, and it was like the regret of the girlfriend from previous, and then trying to almost relive his youth through through his intern,
right.
Who's just not interested in it. He's like, "No, I want to do my work on my computer, and then when I'm older, it's a different culture and it's a different
it's
life,
a different,
and it's not that high school superstar kind of
like lifestyle anymore."
Yeah.
One of my so like I have a couple favorites is when Aubrey Plaza asks Arnau like, "Why is there flames on your computer?" And he's like, "Oh, because my computer's really fast."
It's a gaming computer. It's really fast. And then he says, "It's really fast." Whoosh.
Does he do that? Also, another favorite part is probably, the part where he's crying on the go-kart. Because definitely, like, I think the older you get, the more chances you have for, like, moments like this. Like, where you cry at the most inappropriate times.
Right.
Just because, like, as a person, like, when you're growing up, you try to keep it all together so much that at some point the dam breaks.
Yep.
And you just cry at the weirdest places. and you just hope it's not somewhere where it's gonna like make people feel uncomfortable, because when it is, and then like people look at you, you lash out and be like, "What the fuck are you looking at? I'm just crying over here." And then actually, what's it called? And the song that Mark Duplass is part.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It was a really good moment in that film, and probably just the payoff of there actually being a time machine and them going back in time.
Yes, the faces of the intern and then of Mark, and they're just like the excitement that it works, and then the what is going on face of the government agents who are standing behind him. Because
like throughout this whole film, like I know there's like this whole film theory about like somebody's, I forgot what the person is called, but it's like the theory is like someone's gun. Where like in the first act of the film you talk about a gun, and then in the second film there actually has to be a gun. Mm-hmm. We're not film students, so we don't know these. So if you guys want to bitch at us, that's cool. But like this is exactly that moment where like they talk about the time machine the whole time,
right?
And from us as viewers, we look at it like there's no fucking time machine. Yeah, we hold the same cynical doubts and the pessimistic views.
You want there to be one, but you're pretty sure that this guy's crazy.
Yeah. And so like when we get the payoff of there actually being the time machine, and like my feelings are exactly as like how Jake Johnson and Arnau are reacting, with the fist in the hand, with the fist in the air, and Arnau is just like it looks like his mind is about to be blown.
Oh, right. Yes.
And so, but it's like I feel like they did that because it's the exact emotion that the director wanted the audience to also feel.
Yes. Oh, and I did. I definitely was smiling at the screen.
And I also, like, a little part of me was like, is this thing gonna blow up? Like, because that'd be really sad. Kobe. So let's go to our rating system, guys. We have, if you guys are listening to this from the beginning, early on, we have changed our rating system, and we have a whole year's worth of backlog. So
this will continue to change for the next year.
And so we have shortened it down to Stream It, DVD, Blu-ray, and Ultimate Box or Ultimate Collection.
Yep.
And so, if you watch the first episode, you'll realize why there is no skip it option. Kobe, where you put this movie at?
I'm not sure what would be worth doing an ultimate box on this. I'm not even sure what kind of movies would go with it.
Other time travel movies.
Right. But yeah, I think I may end up having to get this on Blu-ray. This really surprised me how well done this was. I really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and this is like what the podcast is all about, because you for 7 years you didn't know this movie had existed, right?
Right, exactly.
And I think I for some reason I had like this very strong itch to keep watching these like movies from Sundance, because it's just like, oh, let's see what this is all about,
right? And that's usually like right in my wheelhouse. I mean, I love this kind of like small press,
right? Yeah, I would definitely if I could find it on Blu-ray, I definitely, because it would be really hard to like, what would you couple this with on a Ultimate Box Collection? I don't think Aubrey Plaza has enough movies. I believe she probably does. I just don't know them all.
Right.
But I definitely, if this was coupled with like other quirky time traveling movies,
yeah,
I'd probably buy it. That'd be really cool. But yeah, as far as a standalone, it's definitely worth a Blu-ray. Just because like then you can sort of like see like the director's like commentary on like his process for the show, or like even like just what their thoughts were on how they were gonna go with the ending.
Right. Right.
And and I think this will be holding up pretty fine on a Blu-ray.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Would you hold this as a screening for a movie night?
Oh yeah. Now I want to share this with people. That's like, I would kind of joke about that a lot. That's a lot of my criteria on
movies.
On movies is on how well I rate them, is how much I want to share them with somebody else. Like just spin off, like there was the girl from Captain Marvel. She did
Brie Larson.
Unicorn Store.
Oh yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson.
And that movie was fantastic. That's not a movie I'm going to sit and watch with my friends, though. So like it weirdly changes that. I'm like, I don't want to watch movies where I cry with my friends.
That's all I want to show people. I want to see you cry. And before you watch this movie, it's a requirement for you to wear mascara so I can see the tears. That's a quote from that's an Aubrey Plaza quote from Parks and Rec. Yeah. This movie is just a lot of fun. I think the themes in it, where it's dealing with like regret, living through people,
right,
trying to capture some of your youth back, and and just finding something in another person where you feel like you have a connection. It doesn't have to be like a sexual one, but like, like even between like, someone of the same sex, where you guys will just connect on maybe a shared trauma or something like that. It makes you, this movie totally makes you feel a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we are coming up to our 1 hour mark. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll next week we're going to be coming out with our last time travel movie.
Yep. We're not going to tell you what it is, because on Jean-Claude Van Damme month, we kept saying what the next movie was going to be, and then it wasn't. So we're not going to fall for that again.
But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please check our show notes. It has our email if you guys want to hit us up about any sort of movie theme month that you guys might want us to do, or just suggestions. One day we're gonna have a Patreon.
Suggestions. Make sure you give us a like.
Review on Apple.
On Apple, yeah.
Follow, subscribe to our we're on Stitcher, Spotify, Google, Apple, iTunes.
All the good ones.
All the ones that I could think of that I signed up for. Just leave us reviews, because even if you guys are like, you guys fucking suck.
Right, it's written something, so
it's something. Hope you guys stay tuned for next week's episode. Barry.
I'm Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. You can check our theme song. It's by Rosevere. Her Bandcamp is in our show notes.
Thank you.